But in this situation, talking to this transgender person, like, hey, can I run something by you? And I spoke with them. They described to me a level of oppression that genuinely fucking broke my heart. They said, hey, let me tell you, like, I am not allowed to use the bathroom at my own place of work. We've got like
That's not true. They're just not allowed to use the bathroom. It doesn't align with their biological sex.
Okay.
Bam! Oh my God, it's so good. I had to do one on this. How could I not? It's actually so, bam, that's the truth. That's the actual real truth. Not my truth, not your truth, the universal truth. They can use the bathroom. They can use the toilet that aligns with their biological sex. Now, that being said, everyone is going to say, not everyone here, but people are going to say, well, Buck, what toilet do you use? You know, I do use the men's room. Until people tell me not to use it or I'm causing a problem, I'll stop using it. But to be honest with you, I try not even to go to the toilet out there anymore because I just don't even want to deal with it. It's just so fucking insane. But honestly, you know, this is all about trans women pulling out their wieners and doing shit. But that being said, I think what he said is so right on. And I'm telling you, I've been on the Joe Rogan show. He's not transphobic. He's never been transphobic. He's just calling it out. Thank God he's calling it out because we need to call it out. And I'm telling you, this is so absurd what this guy, Steve-O, is saying. But I think what's happening is he's getting schooled, which is awesome because he got sucked into the rhetoric from the trans activists or allies who keep saying the same bullshit over and over. Anyway, I want to get back to this. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for helping my channel grow. Thanks for all the awesome comments and likes and all of that stuff. But let's get back into this.
But you got to realize they're not all, listen, I genuinely think there's people that feel like they are in the wrong biological sex.
Sure.
Right? But there's also people that are fucking perverts. And they have a thing called autogynephilia. And what that is they get a turn on by pretending to be a woman. They get excited by it. And they want to be around women. And they're creeps. And so you give them a fucking Willy Wonka golden ticket to go into the women's locker room and the women's bathroom and stare at women and pretend you're a woman when you're just a crazy man. And you're actually into women.
Okay.
That's real too, man.
I don't doubt that that's real, and I know
that's real, he's about to say. That has happened. And how do I know that? I'm going to show you something right now. Let me just interject in this, okay? With not just my voice, but let me just show you something right here.
Controversy at a health club in Koreatown over the issue of gender.
That's right. Video of spa goers complaining was posted on social media. KCAL9's Chris Holmstrom has video of the dispute live from Koreatown this afternoon. Chris.
Juan and Susie, this video is going viral. Already over 100,000 views on Instagram, even more on Twitter, and it's video that has a lot of people talking.
I just want to be clear with you. It's okay. It's okay for a man to go into the women's section.
A rant caught on cell phone camera at We Spa in Koreatown. In the video, the woman claims a naked man was in the women's day spa.
He's a man. He is a man. He is not no female.
Remember that? I don't know if you all do. We Spa here in Los Angeles, they let some trans-identifying man in the women's locker room with his penis hanging out. Okay, so what Joe Rogan is saying is true. Let me just give you one more just for integrity.
Island Spa and Sauna. It's in Edison, New Jersey. I go to the people that work there. I'm like, oh my goodness, I think somebody came into the wrong side or something. There's a man in there. It's also all women working in there. So they all look at me in discomfort and you can tell they're embarrassed and they're just like, it's a trans woman.
See, like, come on, man. I found so many of these and no one seems to care that women are saying they're uncomfortable with this. It's unbelievable.
and I know that it's a super complex, nuanced thing. And
but here's what's not complex. What is your chromosomes?
Right.
Okay? This is the same thing for competing. Right. All these fucking mental gymnastics that seemingly intelligent people do to justify biological males competing with females.
Oh, I'm with I don't think anybody's
It's the same
that.
thing.
Right.
It's the same thing.
Right.
And especially as speaking as a man who has daughters, like there are creeps. And if you give a creep, and I'm not saying all trans people are creeps,
right,
But a lot of these fucking people that are in trouble for going into women's bathrooms dressed as a woman with a fucking beard and a heart on are just that. They're creeps.
Right, okay.
They're crazy men. And these crazy men, their entire life, they would get beaten up for that. And now all of a sudden, they have to be accepted. So you've got two things going on at the same time.
For sure.
You've got people with gender dysphoria that
Right.
genuinely wish they were a woman or genuinely wish they were a man. And by the way, it's men that are the problem. No one gives a fuck about trans men going into the men's bathroom. Come on in. Who cares?
Right.
Who cares? Oh, a girl's going to shit next to you? Or what is she going to do? She's going to pee out of a funnel?
It's so good. True. It's a thing that they make for trans men called an STP, which stands for stand to pee. And it's totally insane. It's like a funnel that you put up against your genitals and you pee through it and pee goes everywhere and you pee all over yourself. Why are you doing that? I won't even do that. Like, just go to the stall, shut the door, take a dump or a piss, and move on. But he said it. He literally said it right there. No one cares about guys like me, chicks in the men's room. Even a chick can go into the men's room and no one cares. We have to stay on focus here. It is not transphobic what he's saying. And, he's getting torn apart by the trans activists. It's all bullshit. He's saying the truth. And he actually even says it there. He's like, there are people with gender dysphoria. That's real. 100%. Okay. He would have never had me or Blair on his show if he was transphobic. He's willing to have the conversation, but the problem is you're not willing to have the conversation. And so now you're actually going to get called out bigger than you probably should have ever let it get to. When you start letting this shit go off the deep end and act like this is all about trans rights when it's not, this shit happens, and the biggest podcaster in the world fucking comes after you. So let me just keep going, because it's so good.
What is she going to do? Like,
Hey,
no
I'm
one's
not-
going to
I'm
get
not-
hurt.
I'm not arguing
No
with
one's
you
going to
on
get
this.
hurt. This is the problem. When
Right.
you allow perverts to have this hall pass to go into women's locker rooms and bathrooms.
Yeah.
So you can't say you're not allowed to use the bathroom where you work. That's not true. You're
Okay.
just not allowed to use the women's room where other women are in there because you're not a woman. And I know you wish you were a woman or whatever's
Right.
going on,
Okay.
but you're
You know
not.
what? You make a very, very good point.
If you're a woman, talk to most women about this. And
Right.
it's unless they're insanely captured by this woke ideology where they can't see reality and the fact that perverts are still a real fucking thing.
Yeah.
And this loophole. You've given loopholes. Like, there's men in prison. I think it's like 47 biological males in California are housed in women's prisons.
And no one's talking about that. And thank God he brought it to the attention. Now more people are going to look into this. That's a fact. By the way, here, let me just show you something so you don't just hear it from me or from him. Watch this.
I'm a 25-year-old trans woman, and I was locked up in a male's prison in the state of California. I was there in 2019, 2020, around the time where they passed a California law where trans are able to go to female facilities. If you designate with trans, you should be able to go. But I think it was a setup against us, and this is the reason why. And there's this fucking weirdo who essayed 2 females at a female facility, maybe more. He got sent to a female facility because he said that he was trans. And all he had to do was go into see a mental health specialist, say he was trans, and they sent him. And I'm gonna show you guys a picture of him. He does not look like a girl, what the fuck so ever. And when I was in there was people that were talking about doing shit like that, and I was like, and they actually fucking did it, and they allowed it. The prisons allowed it. This weirdo was sent to Chowchilla State Prison because he said he was a female. He impregnated 2 inmates.
Facts, people, facts. So Joe Rogan isn't talking out of his ass. He's not that. This is an actual transgender woman who's a male in the male facility, hearing them all saying, I'm going to pretend I'm trans, and they're literally taking them. That freak went to the woman's prison. I did a whole thing on it. I just wanted to use that again because it's such a powerful thing for a trans woman to actually say that's what's happening in prison. It's a fact. Don't let those trans activists gaslight you and pretend like this isn't happening. It's literally happening right there.
Some of them are sex offenders. Some of them in Canada. There's a guy in Canada that they had to pay for his boob job while he was in jail for being a sex offender, and they put him in a women's prison. Yeah.
I'm not arguing with
There's
any of that.
men who have pretended to be women, gone into women's prison, had sex with women and impregnated them. There's men who have sexually assaulted and raped women in prison that are pretending to be women with functional dicks. All they have to do is identify, air quotes. When you just have to identify, that's it. No operation, no nothing, identify. That is bonkers. And do you think they're giving them estrogen when they get in prison? Do they give hormone replacement therapy to people in prison? I don't know. But even then, it's still a man with estrogen. You can't escape your fucking chromosomes, okay? And until you can, until there's some sort of a CRISPR thing that you really want to be a woman, we can turn you into an actual woman. Until that happens, what you're dealing with is a form of gender dysphoria, which has always been classified as a mental illness. Until
it is a mental disorder. I use disorder because it feels less insane for me than illness, but call it what you want. It is, and it should stay there, and it should have stayed there. But because WPATH and all the trans activists got it taken out of the DSM, that's how it became mental illness, which destroyed the whole community and destroyed it for me and for the people who are really suffering from gender dysphoria. Because now you have freaks, and then you have people like Steve-O saying shit like that when he doesn't even know. If you listen, he's all backtracking now. He's all, well, yeah, okay, I get it. This is the problem with some allies, seriously. Some allies don't really know what they're saying. And it's like, if you don't know the subject, you shouldn't be speaking on it. I don't care what the fuck it is, okay? I don't care. But you can't sit there and say things about stuff that you don't have a full understanding of the situation, okay? Because it does shit like this. The only great thing that happened was he tried to say that to Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's like, I'm not having this. This isn't true. This is complete total bullshit.
people became much more empathetic and sensitive to people that have this problem.
Right. And you make a completely valid argument.
Nobody should be able to tell you can't do something fucking stupid like get a boob job because they are transgender. That's crazy.
Understood. My experience was that I didn't get any of this, like, sense that this was a creepy pervert, anything like that. I just thought,
they don't have to be a creepy pervert.
Right.
Right. But it's still a man.
Understood. I just thought, man,
Okay. It's still a man. I'm still a female. That's just how it is. I don't care if you like it or not. You trans activists can keep trying to say shit. And what's happening is it's all going down hard. If you just come clean, you're a man who wants to be a woman. Big effing deal. Actually, nobody really cares. They don't care. I'm a female who wants to be a man. Okay, so what? Who fucking cares? I know what the fuck I'm doing. The thing is, you trans activists are the ones destroying yourself. You had Joe Rogan there for a while. He was so super cool. He still is, but he's not going to be cool with this bullshit. And thank God. I mean, I'm just going to tell you that I appreciate the fact that he stood up for women and girls here. And he said, no, we're not playing this fucking game anymore. Okay, and this is the kind of allyship that we need as transsexuals. We need allyship with that. And we will begin to get back to a safe and sane transitional space for adults when we weed out the psychos that we let into the trans community. So thanks, Joe. I just want to say thanks, buddy. Totally appreciate your voice. It's so awesome that you push back on these people. And because we need the help of true allyship, and we need the help to get back to a reality-based transition and why people do it. And as far as I'm concerned, it needs to be put back into the DSM as a mental disorder. It will help so many. I accept my mental disorder. I have no issues with it whatsoever. It's not normal for a woman to want to be a man and a man to want to be a woman. How dare you act like it's normal? It's not. I wish I didn't feel this way, but I do, and that's the situation. And I did this in order to do that. So with that, everybody, have an awesome, great rest of your day. I'm going to go hang out with my baby girl and have an awesome time with her because she is just growing like mad and I'm just having the best time. My son is just so obsessed with video games. Like, you know, the thing is I can hear him in the other room, so I'm all good with it because it's not like he's all in the room silent. He's just like going nuts shooting shit. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I would talk about J.K. Rowling. For many reasons, but one being that I just really cannot stand watching this woman get the things said to her that are so insane to me and have nothing to do with transphobia. It's as if she's been picked to be this sort of punching bag for the trans rights activists. And it all started from this one tweet she did. I think maybe it was, let's see, I have the date here. I think 2019. We are in 2024 now. This tweet basically was the tweet that started it all, which I find to be so, I want to say hilarious, but it's not hilarious because what happened from this tweet is so, I just like, yeah, wow, did that really happen to a woman who felt the need to say this, which I'll read here in a second, and then got so twisted, it got so taken out of context on some level. It became the transphobic tweets of all tweets forever and ever. And I have read things from people that are so much more transphobic than this will ever be. So this says, dress however you please, call yourself whatever you like, sleep with any consenting adult who will have you, live your best life in peace and security, but force women out of their jobs for stating that sex is real? ? I stand with Maya, and this is not a drill. How is that transphobic? I don't understand. Then she went on to say things like trans women are trans women, trans men are trans men, which is exactly what I say, and I'm a trans person. So everything she says, I agree with I pretty much agree with, not on some level, I agree with. There's nothing that she's saying that I, as a transsexual and an elder transsexual in this community, find in any way, shape, or form transphobic. Trans women are not women. They are trans women, which equals a biological male who wants to transition to look and walk the world as a woman. As I am a biological female who wants to transition to look and walk the world as a male, though I am not a male. It's real simple. And I don't really understand why the trans community is so adamant to go after her. Is it because she's famous? And because she does have a lot of people who, on some level, back her, including a lot of trans people? You would be surprised how many trans people actually agree with her and want to not have this be happening. The people, the trans people, the allies, who I will tell you I find to be very problematic. Many of our allies are the ones causing a lot of these problems. So I just feel very strongly in my own belief system that J.K. Rowling is not transphobic. I believe she is a woman who has had a past of things happen to her, which she admitted that she dealt with some domestic violence.
She's now written an essay on her blog addressing the accusations and saying her opinions stem from her own experience with domestic violence. That's why she's been pushed to advocate for women's rights, she says.
I'm going to tell you that I agree, depending on that female space and how women feel threatened on some level by it. And that being the bathroom space, it is such a space that needs to be kept safe. Now, I know lots of trans women who look like women and can walk in a woman's restroom and don't cause any problems. We know those trans women exist. But we also know there are so-called trans women who don't want to pass like women and who do cause problems and are just doing it to be a-holes. Me and you both know that. No trans woman in her right mind will walk around with a beard and mustache. She just wouldn't do that. We know the people that J.K. Rowling is talking about. She's talking about these newer trans women who are making no effort to look like women, no effort to sort of deal with this idea that, you know, passing is an important part of transition. Now we have this new group that says passing isn't a part of transitioning, dysphoria isn't, which is all complete nonsense. So I'm going to read another tweet here that I found to be very upsetting to me and disgusting. So there's a trans man who works for the ACLU, and he's always saying things that are pretty off the wall as far as I'm concerned. And he doesn't represent me, and he doesn't represent other trans people who disagree with him, and many of us do. But that being said, he wrote, "If you are angry or think it is unfair for a trans girl to beat a cis girl," you mean a girl, "in a sporting event, then fundamentally, you don't think trans girls are real girls. It's that simple." Yeah, it's that simple. Trans girls are not real girls. They're trans girls. So JK wrote, "Astonishing how often militant trans activists tell the rest of us, so what you're saying is trans girls aren't real girls." Yes, that's exactly what we're saying. Girls are being robbed of honors and opportunities by mediocre, uber-privileged, establishment-enabled boys. What's wrong with what she just said? It's her opinion, number one. Number two, trans girls are boys who are wanting to be girls, and they should not be competing in girls' sports, nor should trans women. Period. I agree with her. So does that make me transphobic? A 32-year transitioned transsexual man? I don't think so. So the last thing I want to show you here, and in defense of J.K. Rowling continually to tweet out stuff that some people do not like, okay? I have seen so many disgusting threats and those kind of threats towards this woman. In any other place, how would this be tolerated? It would not be tolerated. If you reverse this particular thing right here, and you sent all of these tweets, which I'll put on the screen for you, if you put and reverse all of these tweets towards a trans woman, everyone would lose their minds. This would be considered transphobic. It would be considered hate speech. It would be considered so many things. But why can you say that towards a woman? That's misogyny. That is not okay. Trans women are biological males, and they do not belong in female spaces, especially if females do not want them there. If a man doesn't want me in the male space, I'm just not going to go. But that's just never happened to me, and we all know why. We have seen so many threats from so-called trans women towards women. It's absurd and disgusting, and it's literally why JK is saying these things. So with that, I'm going to put up I'm going to read a couple. Let me just read a couple, but I just want to put them up because it's such garbage. It's just garbage, right? Delete yourself, Joanne. Shut the F up. We're busy right now. Can you shut the F up a second? What? Let's see. This woman is complete scum. Shut the F up, you transphobic F. You don't, oh my God, you don't love any trans people if you won't even acknowledge their existence. But she does acknowledge our existence. I've had actual tweet conversations with her. She was very lovely to me. So no, you're wrong. She has had many of us trans people, not just me, many of us. So you're wrong. And you don't like it. And I know what you're going to call me, a bootlicker, all of those things. Why? Because I want to build bridges? And what I don't believe that she's being transphobic? So, no, you've got to stop. And you've got to understand why this woman is not backing down. She doesn't have to back down. And I actually think it's great that she's not backing down. Women have had to deal with so much nonsense in this world. It's crazy that here we are again. Here we are again, taking this situation to such heights and over speaking women for trans women. If that's not misogyny, I don't know what. You cannot change your sex. Trans women are not women. They are trans women. Why can't we just acknowledge that, all of us, and move forward? But instead, supposedly trans community wants to keep going after J.K. Rowling because for some reason it makes you all feel so powerful. Hey, everybody. Oh, my God. Why don't you see who I caught today? Well, you can see him. You can already see him, so it's not a surprise. But that being said, thanks, everybody, for joining us today. I'm super excited about this interview. You know, I've known Marcus for a long time, and we're super close, I think. And that being said, I never really got to do an interview with him. So I'm doing the interview for many reasons, but one of the reasons I also wanted to really get this interview out is because my last interview with Nalia, the trans woman, and there were some issues there. So I want to also bring on Marcus. Not that we're going to talk about that. Who cares, right? But that being said, if you want to, you're allowed to address that. But that being said as well, thanks for liking, subscribing, doing all those things. You're really making this channel go crazy. Marcus's channel is killing it, by the way. So again, I think of Marcus as I sort of feel like his grandpa on so many levels, and I really care about this guy a lot, and I care about his voice, and I care about him as a human, and he's a super smart kid, and he's just, his trajectory is going up, up, up. We have hope because of people like him, just so you all know. So that being said, that's my introduction to Marcus. Hey, Marcus.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so sweet. Look how handsome he's looking. I just like my kid is growing up. I totally feel like that's so weird. But
I've changed a little bit since the last time we saw each other. Yeah.
you changed a lot. I see everything changing. And also I just see the brightness in you, dude. Especially your generation of these trans kids are so insane. You're just so grounded and calm and everything.
I try to be, but thank you.
You are. Trust me. Compared to me, I'm like, ah! So let's talk a little bit about where you. Well, first, I want you to introduce yourself. Maybe some people don't know who you are out there. I'm sure they might, but there might be one or two. So why don't you first introduce yourself?
Sure. So I'm 24 and I live in Denmark, Europe. So I'm not American and I'm not planning on moving. I'm just making YouTube videos 3 times a week, talking about the same stuff that you talk about. And oh yeah, I'm trans.
Don't forget that.
Don't forget that. So yeah, I'm a biological female, and I've been on testosterone for 4.5 years.
Wow.
Got top surgery, a hysterectomy, a couple of years ago. So yeah, I'm all done with my transition, and I make videos about the trans community and being against children transitioning, especially.
Yeah, I know. That's why I love you, dude, because your voice as a young person. Also Marcus, besides Blair, really encouraged me to start my channel. It's because of these guys that I really decided to put my time and energy into this, and it's been really great. And one of the great things I think about YouTube, my friend, but I knew you before I started my channel, is I think there's a community here of us, right? People like him and Blair and some other people that we're very like-minded transsexual people, and I think on some level, that's what people are starting to see us. I mean, they see you. Your channel blew up, dude. You're killing it. Seriously. I'm very proud of you. I really am, because it takes a lot of work to do this. And I don't know if people really understand the amount of work we put into this. So let's talk a little bit about you growing up is that where you grew up, in Denmark?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so as a kid, were you a tomboy, or tell me a little bit about your childhood?
Sure. I wasn't necessarily a tomboy growing up. I played with dolls, but I also played with Legos. We invented that. And
Really?
I have an older brother, and we were close when I was very young, and I was known, like, as a child, I was known for playing with both the boys and the girls. But when I became older, I had long curly hair. I
Mhm.
wore dresses and
Mhm.
loved makeup to some degree, and
Mhm.
but I've always had a very big lack of inner peace, and I never knew growing up what it was.
Mhm.
So yeah, when I was around 15, 16, I discovered what transsexualism is. I've never heard of trans people growing up.
Yeah.
I've only heard of gay, bi, and drag queens, but that's not the same. So yeah, I had no idea what it was, and
Yeah.
then I, in private, I identified as a trans guy. First, first I actually identified as genderqueer for
Mhm.
like 2 seconds until I realized that it only exists on the internet. Um, but yeah, and then then I founded the trans guy identity label, and
Mhm.
I wasn't sure at the time when I was 16 if that was me, but I was like, what, I'll just privately identify as such, not tell anyone. I can maybe change my clothes a little bit, and if it's not me, I can always go back. And I never did. And then I was in the closet, uh,
Mhm.
or I didn't tell anyone for quite a while. My family, I didn't come out until a year later,
Mhm.
but I told my friends and my coworker at the time.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, within that year. So
Okay.
yeah.
Were you on so were you on the internet when this was all coming around for you? Or how did you sort of discover the trans kind of thing? Were there other people around you doing it, or was it mostly did you discover it from the internet?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I did discover it on the internet, I guess, because
Yeah.
so I live in a very small country, five and a
Yeah.
half million people, I think.
Yeah.
And, uh, you don't you so yeah, I'm 24, and when I was a kid, you didn't hear much about trans people.
That's right.
And we're kind of so the culture here, we're kind of like you, but just far behind.
Yeah.
So that's a good and a bad thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I did discover it online, and I tried to be a part of the online trans community in my country, but yeah, that didn't work out. I didn't.
Yeah.
There was a lot of negativity, and they the trans activists here, they were just so angry at the system,
Mhm.
and I didn't understand it. I just
Right.
they made it seem like the system is against trans people.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
and doctors, and it's just without like I didn't know, like, maybe they were right. I was only 16. I didn't so, and there
Mhm.
was actually this older trans guy who was famous at the time, and
Mhm.
so I technically I should have trusted him,
Mhm.
but my gut told me otherwise. Like, these people are miserable, and that's fair, that's valid, but I don't think it's everybody else's fault. So yeah.
But that's your stance to this day. And I think it's why I connected to you as a youngster because you're not angry like that and you're really really solid in your transition and you are a transsexual there is just no doubt about it. I can feel it. I know it. I have a connection to watching you. And so I think that's the reason why for me as well, I didn't connect to the community. It's always sort of been a little bit angry and a little bit like that. Even back in the day when we had a little community, but I think it got worse, and then it got to this space where everybody's like, "We don't have anything," and I'm like, "You actually have what you need. Really, you have hormones, and you get surgery, and then you're supposed to move on." I think that's one of the problems I see is nobody's moving on, right? I feel like you got your situation taken care of, whatever was going on with you. You got it taken care of. You did the hormones, and then you just moved on. You became Marcus,
Oh,
right?
100%. Yeah. Yeah, it's and I'm realizing this more and more like today because it sometimes I forget I'm trans, and it's not because I forget that I'm a biological woman.
Yeah.
Like I haven't got bottom surgery. I will never get it. So I am reminded every single day of
That's right.
being a woman, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes I forget I'm trans, like the identity that we hear so much today. And sometimes if I talk to other people, it's like, oh wait, I can I can use this.
That's right.
So yeah, I forget I'm a minority. Like I know, but I forget it sometimes. You know.
Thank God. That's why you're successful, my friend. It's with any kind of anything, right? Any sort of thing that you're not normal, whatever that even means, right? But anything you have that you have to adjust to the rest of society, the whole goal is to forget you have it or to live with it in a way that makes your life happy, not live with it as anger. I do feel the new trans space is so angry about first off, they talk. They're just all over the place, dude. They're like trans joy, happy, happy, but I'm angry. What is it? Are you angry? Are you happy?
Right. They're not joyful. Let's just leave it at that.
So that being said, so now you transition and you're sort of living your life, and what's happening in that space? Is your family okay? Your friends? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I I only socially transitioned when I was 16 and 17, I
Hmm.
guess. And I lived as Marcus without any medical transition for like
Oh,
3 years.
okay.
It's hard to like count the extent,
Sure.
right? But so I only changed my wardrobe and
Hmm.
my hair,
Hmm.
and I tried to wait as long as I could, even though it was very difficult with the dysphoria. I transitioned when I was 20, so 4 years ago. Yeah, I
Wow.
started testosterone when I was 20, and uh, I got top surgery uh, in 2020. So what is
Okay.
that? Like
Yeah,
in
that's
November
5 years.
20.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be
Yeah.
5 years coming up. Yeah, wow.
So and then I got my hysterectomy over 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, actually.
Okay, so you
Yeah,
did everything. You just went for it.
yeah, yeah,
I think it was so that's so one thing, let's discuss this because I remember one of the things when we were early creating our relationship with each other, one of the things you reached out to me for, which was I was very thankful because a lot of young people think I'm lying about it, which is so weird. It's just weird, dude. But that being said, it was atrophy, and I think you were struggling with some pain and some stuff, and you couldn't get any answers. I don't want to talk over you, but why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
yeah, yeah. I experienced a lot of pain after having sex, and
Hmm. Hmm.
it was like cramping and uh, very uncomfortable.
Hmm.
And yeah, I talked to you about
Yeah,
it, but I also
yeah.
saw your video. I think I saw it first.
Okay.
You made about your story experience with
Great.
atrophy, and I talked to my trans doctors, and they didn't know. They didn't. They couldn't give me any answers to yeah, they couldn't give me any answers. But what was so weird, I talked to my regular doctor who knew nothing about trans people or the
Okay.
transition, and
Right.
she said, um, she told me that it was atrophy because something about losing estrogen uh, can cause
Yep.
vaginal atrophy, and
That's right.
she told me that women right after they give birth experience vaginal atrophy because they
That's right.
like push the estrogen out somehow.
Hmm.
And I have problems in my nose, like the walls in my nose, they're always dry, and it's bothering me when I have to sleep and stuff. My trans doctor said it has nothing to do with testosterone. My regular doctor said, of course, it has something to do with losing estrogen. So I mean, so frustrating.
Wow.
But then I got my hysterectomy, and so I got some papers after my hysterectomy, and in those papers it said that I had signs of atrophy in my uterus, and I had a lot of cysts on my one ovary. But remember, there wasn't any problem, right?
That's
Before.
right.
And I mean, I still experienced some pain and then vaginal dryness, of course, after the hysterectomy. And that's because atrophy can occur like many different places, right? So
Yeah.
I had a little bit in my uterus, but I also had in the walls, and that's like, yeah,
Wow.
this surgery can't really help with
No,
that.
they
So
can't. So, are you struggling with some of those problems still, or did they pretty much go away? Did they take the cysts out, or they
yeah,
couldn't?
yeah,
Oh, they
no,
did.
yeah, they took everything out actually. Yeah, I'm doing so great today, and
Great.
yeah, it's due to a little secret I can tell you another time. I I randomly randomly discovered how I cured the atrophy, but I want to tell
Okay.
you afterwards.
Okay. Great.
It,
Thank you. I appreciate
it's
that.
super crazy, and it's really
Well,
amazing. Yeah.
that's amazing that you have that information. You know, I had to figure it out on my own, right? Remember, I just like suffering. I almost actually died, even though people think I make that up. I actually almost seriously died from sept. I got septic because I had such an infection and it popped inside of me and just went crazy, dude. But that I had to figure it out. The same thing happened to me, but it makes sense for me because I transitioned 31 years ago, right? So it makes sense that they didn't understand what this is going to do to a female body. So because I'm on some level an experiment, as you are too, you're still an experiment. But why are you an experiment 30 years later after me? That doesn't make sense. So my point being is I did struggle with that and it was horrifying and it was insane and no one could help me and I had to figure it out all on my own on the internet and figure out the medicine I should be taking and I want to tell everybody out there the one thing that would have alleviated my atrophy and possibly Marcus's if they would have given us a vaginal suppository of estrogen, which is what they do for women, and they never even thought about doing that to me or even to Marcus. So these doctors don't. And then Marcus has told you the trans doctor, the one who's supposed to be the specialist, is like, no, dude, it's all good. And you're like, but I'm having cramps. And then the other doctor is like, dude, you got atrophy.
It's
What
that
world?
simple, right?
It's that simple. What world do we live in? Trans healthcare is a joke, dude. It's not real. It's not real. You know that, right?
They're specialists in trans activism. That's my
That's
opinion.
right.
Yeah.
That's what they are. The trans doctors, the trans therapists, the trans healthcare, it's all activism. It has nothing to do with understanding. They have no morals, dude. They don't have any ethics. They're so unethical giving. Well, anyway, I can go off. Me and you can literally go off on this nonsense. But you were 20 when you transitioned. That to me, of course, I'm 60. I'm like, that's young, but it isn't. You can literally make that choice. And I can see how you made the choice and your life. That's why people like you are so important to me because, I'm older and it's just a different space, but you're young and you're showing real transsexual dudes exist. And it did help you on so many levels. And how is your family dealing with it?
Sure. They're fine with it. When it comes to my parents in the beginning, it was of course very hard for
Yeah,
them,
totally.
and I would say almost traumatic for them. But it was also traumatic for me to come out to them in some ways because it is such a I don't wish this upon anyone, and I'm actually looking back. I'm actually glad that my parents were devastated when I came out to them because
Yeah.
that's an honest reaction. When you see some parents today, they're like, "Oh my God, oh I love it. What is your preferred pronoun? What is your name?"
Oh my
And
God,
it
dude.
is so fake.
Yeah,
Like, do
yeah,
do these parents even understand what this means?
yeah.
Because it means that someday your kid will transition and sterilize themselves.
That's
How
right.
can you, as a parent, not feel sad about that in the beginning, at least?
Yeah.
Of course, you can get children in other ways, right? But still,
Still.
so my parents went from being very devastated and didn't quite understand what it was
Mhm.
to now being the most supportive parents ever. And I think that
Excellent.
should be the way, or that should be the process for any parent.
Well, that's the healthy process. My parents the same way, dude. They lost their daughter. Like, let's just be real here. That's why our biology is important, right? My parents and your parents lost their daughter. That's devastating on some level, and so we have to be compassionate to our parents. And also, I think a lot of these new trans parents, some of them are kind of nutty, but I but I also think some of them are lost. Right? Some of them are listening to the doctors who are complete grifters, who are listening to the medical space, who are listening to these weirdos, and they don't have a choice, dude. I'm a parent, so and you can understand as being a youngster and having parents. We can all understand the space a parent is put in when somebody in a medical field goes, if you don't do this, your child is going to off themselves. Like, who says that? And what
Yeah,
parent wouldn't be completely devastated and want to do it, right?
yeah, yeah. I feel bad for the parents,
Me too.
um, and it's also because I don't view being trans as like an identity.
That's right.
Uh,
Excellent.
I see it as a mental disorder, which is fine. Like I
That's
also
right.
deal with ADHD and I have
Yeah,
anxiety symptoms and stuff. And it doesn't make me less than. It's
yeah.
just a fact about how my brain works.
That's right.
And so it's, and that's why it's also devastating for parents to hear this. Like, mom and dad, I'm trans. They're like, you're not only coming out as trans, you're coming out as someone who struggles with your mental health.
Yes.
And that's why the parents shouldn't be like, oh yay. That would be weird.
It is weird because here's the other thing I want to ask you. Like, so let's say you get diagnosed with cancer, God forbid, right? Most people who I even know, I have friends who've been diagnosed with that, they get second and third opinions. Do they not? Most people who get diagnosed with something sort of life changing go to another couple specialists. Why do you think that's not happening in this space?
I don't know. I don't know. I
It,
understand the parents. It would make sense if the parents are already brainwashed or like woke
well, yeah,
and love
that's
the
right.
trans, the rainbow
That's
stuff.
right. Yeah,
But I mean,
yeah.
and you've said this before, and I think it's such a great argument. Like, if they trans doctors make it seem like gender dysphoria in children is like a death sentence. So if
That's
it is a diagnosis like cancer, let's say,
that's right.
you
Yep.
would go to other doctors. So if the parents to these children are, innocent and they don't know what to do, why wouldn't they go to other doctors? Again, it would
It's
make sense if they are brainwashed and believe in trans ideology, but what about the rest?
there you go.
Yeah.
So to me, it says exactly what you just said. They're brainwashed and they don't want to go to another doctor because they want their child to be trans. That's what I think. And there, I said it. I do. I believe there's some parents who actually, dude. Did you see the new one with four? They have four trans. Did you do a reaction to that? I think
Not yet. I don't know
you
if
will.
I can
Please do it.
handle
Do
it.
it, dude. Could you do the best ones? Do it. You're so good. You are so good in your videos, dude. Because
Thank you.
you're less anime. I'm crazy, you know that, but I have a crazy energy. But you're so okay. I don't know if it's because you're Danish or what, but dude, it's your Danish, straightforward, no nonsensical coming to this. It's so good, dude, because you're just hit every fucking note, and you. Okay, I'm totally blown away that people think it is actually possible for somebody to have four trans kids.
It's statistically impossible. Impossible. Like,
Impossible. Even having one to me seems kind of impossible because I don't believe in trans kids. But that being said, wow, how are these people getting away with this? It's not. So I want to ask you this. I get maybe your kid wants to wear different clothes. I'm so cool with that. I don't even care. But how are we as a society just pretending like these little kids know who they are enough to be taking some crazy ass medicine that is destroying them. How? I mean, I know it's a kind of crazy question I'm asking you, but how? How are people so manipulated into thinking it's okay to do that?
Well, I think it's the rhetoric. I think
Mm,
when they,
mm,
it's about, they, so trans activists have changed the definition of trans.
that's right.
So it's like, it's more like a personality trait rather than a mental disorder.
Mm,
So
mm,
if trans activists, you know, tells
mm,
the public it's just who they are, talking about children. It's
mm.
just who they are, and it's beautiful. Trans is beautiful, and uh,
Wow.
and if they don't talk about the dysphoria part, of course they don't talk about it because they don't believe in it. They don't deal with it themselves.
That's right.
So they make it seem like it's just an identity. I think they also use some of the same rhetoric. Well, a lot of the same rhetoric from gay activists, right?
Yes.
Um, yeah,
Yes.
like it's
Yes.
just being gay, which it's not.
No, it
As we all
isn't.
know, it's not. It's not harmful to be gay, right? So I think they use that, you know,
Yeah, that's right.
rhetoric.
Rhetoric. That's the key word. Rhetoric. It is. But I'm just shocked that people are so easy, dude. They're easily manipulated. Remember where I come from. Back in the day, people didn't even think what I was doing was okay, like let alone like just there, right? But then fast forward to today, and we never had kids, dude. In our community, we never touched kids. Kids were not on the table for any of the LGBT space, right? Kids just nope, we don't want to talk about that. And then all of a sudden kids became trans and everybody was just sort of okay with it. And that is so against everything the community I know is about, which is wanting to get people to grow up to be happy and but gay and trans are just they're just not the same thing. It's you're literally changing someone's physical appearance with medication. You're not doing shit to a gay person. They're just gay, right? Like how are those the same?
Yeah, you're like when being trans, an adult transsexual, you're sterilizing yourself. Like being gay, you're sleeping with the same sex. How's that the same?
It's not harmful. It's not harmful
No.
because also you can back out of it. Let's just say you're trying it on for size and then you decide later on, nope, it's actually not for me. No harm. No harm done. Maybe mentally you have some stuff to deal with, which you can go to therapy and deal with that, but whatever. But that can be completely fixed. Right. So you're not really harming. That's why I saying, and I think you're on the same space with me, but I think a lot of these kids are gay kids.
Yeah, and I also think a lot of them are straight. Like, yeah,
That's
because
right.
I
That's right.
think a lot of kids, very young kids, play
Mm,
with the opposite sex toys and
that's right.
clothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially let's say in a household there's a single mother. She has a
Mm,
son and a daughter,
mhm,
and then the son likes to wear some of the mom's or the sister's dresses.
mhm,
Like, look at me, mom, I'm a princess. It's like
mhm.
that's normal because there's not a father in the house, right? And maybe the son wants to impress the mom and this wants to be like his sister, right?
That's
And
right.
that doesn't make him gay as an adult, right? So it can be so many things.
That's
Or
right.
maybe these woke parents are like putting on the dress on the boy.
That's true,
um,
dude.
yeah, you never know what's happening before they record. So
Oh my god, that makes my stomach drop. There's that one dude on TikTok. I think he's like, you probably know what I'm talking about. I think we've all done reaction to that guy. He has that one gay. I mean, he has that one because I think the kid is gay. I don't think the kid is trans. That one trans boy to girl, and parades her around everywhere, dude. It's like full. And I think he now has a couple more trans kids under his belt, and it's so disturbing because they're on camera. These are 10-year-olds, man. Have you ever seen my kid on anything I do? Ever? You never will. Ever. Ever. I think it's disgusting to put your child on the internet. I think it's non-consensual. What happens when they grow up? What happens if the kid is trans and really just wants to be a boy or a girl, and you plastered them all over the internet and right when they were 10 and 11?
yeah, what's it called? Like they want to live stealth. So people, yeah, they
That's
don't want
right.
to tell people that they're
That they're
opposite.
trans. That's right. And they have every right to do. On some level, I live that way. I mean, clearly I'm here and so are you. And I think we both do. We walk the world. You just walk the world as Marcus. Stealth, whatever that is, it just means we want to be men. That's all that really means. We just want people to see us as dudes and not as trans. Because you said you said exactly what I believe. Trans is now an identity choice. It's not like that's why we had to separate transsexual from transgender, because I don't believe this is not my identity. I don't think it's yours.
No, because we transitioned for a reason. We don't want to be in the middle of gender or like something else but a man or a woman, right? So yeah.
It's oh my god, it's a mess. It is. I know we laugh, but I think I can speak for myself and probably for Marcus. We don't want these kids to be in our space. How dare they? I mean, my god. What? Remember when you were a kid? You might like you even said I wasn't. I just figured it out. Me too. I didn't struggle as a kid, just so you know. I was a tomboy, but I would wear a dress here and there and do things and just all that stuff, right? Never did I ever say any of the shit that they're saying kids say, right? And also kids are saying they're trans. That is my red flag, right?
Right. They should know the word.
They should never know that word because that word is false. And they're giving these kids a false sense of something. I think I said I want to be a boy, right? I want to be a man. I want to be a boy. I never said I want to be trans. That's where everything got derailed.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm so thankful for my parents not doing this to me when I was a kid. Like that would be child abuse. I
Yep.
think transitioning children is child abuse, and I do not care who is doing this to the child. I don't care what degree they have.
Thank you.
I've said before in a video, like it could be a homeless man on the street, it can be a medical professional. It doesn't really matter because what will happen to the child if they receive the transition?
Yeah.
Horrible. It is abuse. So
It's sick. A child cannot, dude. A child can't consent to most things. If I just let my kid run wild here, dude, you have no idea. I have everything. Like, no, you can't have that.
right.
I mean, parenting. That's what parenting is: setting boundaries, saying no, do your homework, do this shit. Then we can go do that afterward. But I really feel somehow these certain parents who are trans parents are missing something in their life, so they're using their child to sort of make this situation up. I do not believe in trans kids. I don't believe that exists. I think it's sick and child abuse. So with that, do you notice in Denmark, are there detransitioners there now?
Well, not really. Not we
Okay,
don't see it.
interesting.
We don't see the rise here as we see in America. But there's one who actually
One.
it's someone I know actually personally,
Wow. Wow.
and I knew him as a trans woman.
Okay.
But now he's back to being a male and living life as a man again. And
Yeah.
he has a lot of mental health issues and got, you know, well, those things got ignored in the system, and it's unacceptable.
Oh,
Of course,
my
I
God.
mean, he was an adult, and my stance on that is I don't care that he was an adult because he has mental health issues and he
That's
has the
right.
right to be treated properly by the system, right? And so he's dealing with a borderline and some other stuff, childhood trauma, which
Mm.
you know, those things are in his papers. These trans doctors had access to his papers all along. They just ignore the papers, and I just think it's unacceptable. It's like you don't care about mentally ill people when you're
Yeah.
in that situation, saying yes, of course you can have estrogen, of course you can have testosterone. It's not okay because there's nothing wrong with having a mental disorder. So why can't you get the right treatment when you seek help? I just don't get it.
Because they have an agenda, dude. I really believe they do. The more trans people they make, they're building some weird like infrastructure. So we're all collateral. Me and you aren't. We're solid, but those people are collateral damage. They don't care about them. They don't. You think they care about detransition? This country is out of control. You and I both know it, dude. I've probably interviewed 100 detransitioners. I'm not kidding, and they all have almost the same identical story: how they became trans, what trans was for them, why they did it. A lot of them have essay trauma, dude. A lot of them have just all. I'm like, why aren't you all looking at? There's an actual, line there. They're all on this one line, and all of them are dealing with some form of trauma, and no one addressed the trauma, and all of them got their hormones in literally 20 minutes at Planned Parenthood. I think I know the person you're talking about. Was that the person I interviewed?
Yeah.
She's a
And
sweet. Well, he
yeah,
was very sweet, but they came after him too, didn't they?
yeah. Yeah, and I think he deleted his Twitter due to that. It's tough to be on the internet and being
Oh,
right.
oh,
Yeah,
dude.
and not only was he on estrogen for years, he also got his balls removed, his testicles removed, and they can't come. They don't. That's irreversible. That surgery is,
Totally.
yeah. Luckily, he didn't get the entire bottom surgery.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
very good. He didn't do that, but
Yes. Yes.
still, it's like these trans
But
doctors look at his papers. Oh, he has mental health issues. He has SA trauma. Let's cut off his balls.
what?
What are they doing?
They're experimenting with us. They're literally using us to experiment. That's what I'm trying to. We're all trying to wave the red flag here. Like what? Like the fact that they don't even look at any of your background. You know the extensive stuff I had to go through back in the day, and that's what I advocate for. I don't care. I'm a gatekeeper. I'm 100% a gatekeeper because it reflects on Marcus and I. When these kind of crappy ass things are done, then everybody just thinks we're all crazy wingnuts and we shouldn't be doing this. That's you know the fallout that's going to come from this, my friend. It's going to hit us hard.
Yeah, I'm scared.
Me
I
too.
I'm not looking forward to see the even bigger rise in detransitioners in the future. I'm so mortified, already.
Me too.
When I look at the people also here in my country, uh, actually getting the testosterone. I'm thinking of girls right now.
Mm-hmm.
It is so scary to see how many mentally ill girls get testosterone just because they ask for it, and they yeah, they would look like us, and they can never go back, even though
Never.
it is a phase. In their cases, it is a phase for them,
That's right.
identifying as trans, and yeah, they're going to be out
Sick.
in the future. It's yeah,
No,
it's not
no.
okay.
Every single one they're messed up, dude. They're messed up mentally because they know they're never going to go back to actually looking the way they used to. Their voices, right? Some of them are sterilized. They can't have babies. Some of them remove their breasts, right? Some of them had hysterectomies as quickly as you sort of did, right? And without even having it is up. I mean, I can't even saying this, dude. Like I fought for us to get to this space. Me and many of the other guys back in the day. We fought so we could just easily transition and move on. And they abused our system. These people have abused the system we built. And it's why we have to talk about these what they call trenders. Trends. I'm so old, dude. I'm like, what is it called? A trender?
Yeah,
But they are. They're literally trenders. They're not even trans. And they're the ones who speak over top of you and I, and they're the ones who are creating the mess. But it's actually stop. I hope that you see a light at the end of the tunnel because I do.
yeah. No, I do. I do.
Yeah,
I'm on that. Yeah, I'm optimistic. I think a lot of
yeah,
people they have
yeah.
they know what's going on, and they can see right through this trans ideology. I
Wow.
also want to say that my trans doctor is the same doctor as the guy the detransitioner had, and
Oh
we
wow.
we have talked about the process of getting the transition right.
Yeah,
We've had the same process. Does that make sense? Like
yeah,
we went through the same process, like
yeah.
detail after detail. It's so scary I didn't experience any gatekeeping. So it's
See,
only due to pure luck that
that's right.
I'm happy today, and I'm not regretting my transition, and I am actually happy as a
That's
person.
right.
That's just because I happen to be right, that my mental health struggles or my mental health issues was gender dysphoria.
That's
It
right.
was
But
yeah.
it's the luck of the draw. You're the luck. You're one of those lucky ones. But what about all the other collateral damage, right? And to say you 100% got lucky, but it's only because you also knew. But you were also 20 or something when you were starting to transition. But that being said, you thank you for saying that, Marcus. It means a lot to me that you're so honest about that, and that you realize that you slid through the system, but only because you really are trans, and you really. But of all the other 9 out of you're the 1 out of 10 that made it. The other 9 are gonna struggle. So with that, do you think your system in Denmark is also very similar to the system here where people can just slide through it?
It's better today. It's better. They
Okay.
have received a lot of pushback. So, and it's actually due to some of the work I've done here,
Yes.
political work I've done.
Yes.
And yeah,
Thank you.
it's becoming a lot better here, and I'm so excited. However, I just still see women with the septum piercings, the blue hair, you know, the the watermelon in their bio, and
Oh, the watermelon. Oh man, you know how that makes me. Oh, and you. So yeah, not cool, dude.
I still see them. I still see them on testosterone, and of course they can get it illegally. And I hope, in some weird ways, that's the case, but I don't think so.
Wow,
I
just
still see
wow.
too many young women transition here today. It's devastating. So I don't think, and
Wow.
I don't think a lot is happening. I think it's only small. I only see small
Yeah.
improvements in the system,
Well, at least
unfortunately.
that's some, because not here, dude. It's literally gone off the deep end. You can literally go on the internet and get testosterone after a 20-minute like thing. I'm not going to name the companies because I'm trying to go
Uh,
after them. They need to be they should be illegal. Those companies, there's no way they should be able to do that. Like you don't even have to go into a doctor's office. You just have to talk to a nurse on Zoom, and then in 20
yeah.
minutes you pay $150 and they send you a box, dude, like a gift box with needles and shit. And because I had my buddy do it because I wanted to see, and he got a box of testosterone after a 20-minute intake. Wow, do you know how
This
hard?
the same. This I know which company you're talking about, and
Yeah, I know.
unfortunately, you can do this here too, which doesn't make
What?
sense because it's not, it's not a company located in my country, and you can pick up the testosterone at the pharmacy, at the local pharmacy. It's
What is going
desperate.
on, dude? This is a controlled substance. Testosterone is an actual controlled substance. I am shocked. It's like why don't we just give everybody cocaine? You know what I mean? Like like you're an addict, no worries, dude. Just go on and we'll take a little intake and we'll send you a box of cocaine. It's that absurd.
Right.
What the fuck, dude? Oh,
I
well,
hate.
anyways, Mark, I love you, dude. You're so awesome. I just feel really happy. You all know I love being connected to these young guys because you're the future of our so quote unquote community, but you're the future of the bringing us back to some level of sanity and really showing that I think it's really important that an older generation and the younger generation are solid together so that you can see when Marcus gets to be my age, he's solid. You know what I mean? And this guy is totally on that same. And then I lived 30 years and I was solid, right? So it's important for us to be in front of the camera, and it's why I value you so much, my friend, because you will save lives. If you haven't already, you are saving lives, friend.
Well, thank you. I mean, you're one of my favorite people ever. I have actually received DMs from young girls saying that they're now not on testosterone due to me, and
Oh,
that makes me just
that's
I
it.
cry when I read DMs like that. Like,
Yeah,
how can my videos? So I'm just happy that I can help at
you're doing
least.
the work. You're doing the work and the universe loves you for it. That's why you have a beautiful life. I know your life. You have a beautiful life. You do. And you're really, to me, this is sort of epitome of what some young person does to transition and moves on. You're not whining. You're not on the internet crying about something. You're not, you're literally making a business, which is also, me, I'm a businessman. So I'm like, this dude is creating his own businesses. It's everything. The freedom to create your own business, dude, and has nothing to do with being trans. It has everything to do with being a solid human being. And so before we close here, is there anything maybe you'd want to say out there to the world or to anybody?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, I have moved on. I don't of course I know that I'm trans, and of course I know that I'm a biological female, but I have moved on. So yes, I call my channel the offensive tranny, but I mean, I gotta get people's attention somehow. And why not have some fun with it?
That's right.
Because being trans is not that fun. It's
No.
not a lifestyle that I would wish upon anyone. So I'm trying to make the best, or I'm trying to make this situation as good as possible. And yeah, I've moved on. My mental health is just a lot better, and I also feel like the reason why we connect so well is because I'm an old soul. I've been
You
told
are.
before, and
Yeah.
that is due to my transition. Because again, struggling with your mental health makes you grow up a little bit quicker, and I'm happy being an old soul. I have friends who are older than me, a boyfriend who's older than me, and it works for me, right? And yeah, I'm just a happy human being, and I want to. I talk about mental health mostly on my channel, and I hope to improve other people's mental health by saying it's okay to be a woman, it's okay to be a man, and it's also okay to be gender dysphoric.
That's
So,
right.
yeah.
Well, that's why it's so powerful because because you're also being honest about where you come from, right? Your honesty with your biology, your honesty with your mental health issues, your honesty with the transition and what it's done for you. That's what I've always said. When you're honest to people, they're so cool with us. The world likes us, dude. I walk the world with no problems. The problems come from the trans community, which is kind of absurd if you think about it. But you put yourself back in the world, and that was the whole point of your transition, to live comfortably. And you're doing the work, dude, and you're being visible, and you're creating space for other people to see they don't have to transition. You can even live with your dysphoria without transitioning. Many people do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, of
many.
course. Yeah.
That's right. So I think we need to acknowledge that, and we need to also put that into the air for these young people. You don't have to transition. Just be in your dysphoria, and it's okay. Maybe change your shirt and put a hat on one day and put makeup on the next day. Like, you can literally do that. It's all good, however it makes you feel. So I really value your friendship, Marcus. I value you as also a content creator. You're fucking awesome and killing it. And everyone, please, you probably all follow him already anyway. But if you're not, please subscribe to his channel.